ourselves a warm afternoon on our hands. Mostly sunny overall, but it's going to be filtered sunshine like what we've seen over the last couple of days, especially out to the west. Low to mid 80s for high temperatures today. It's also not going to be as humid, so we have that working in our favor too. A mild night on the way tonight, mid to upper 50s, even a couple of low 60s for low temperatures. And we'll stay warm for the foreseeable future. But dry is another story. We'll talk about that coming up, but until then, Midday in KELOLAND starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, Midday in KELOLAND.
New this midday, Sioux Falls police and SWAT units are working to get a shooting suspect to surrender on the northeast side of town. Plus,
President Biden and Speaker McCarthy meet again today with time running out to raise the nation's debt ceiling. I'm Nicole D'Antonio with the negotiations and the impact this could have on your wallet.
Good afternoon and thanks for having us in. It's been an intense morning in a northeast Sioux Falls neighborhood. It started with several reports of gunshots early this morning on North 10th Avenue, not far from Benson Road and Cliff Avenue. Officers, SWAT, and negotiators have all been called in to help with the situation. Police say they're trying to get a man out of a house. Officers have gone door to door in the area asking neighbors to leave or stay inside. We'll let you know if there are any developments. Also new this midday, we're learning more about an investigation early Sunday morning near 14th Street and Minnesota Avenue in central Sioux Falls. Police say a man was walking along 14th Street around 3 a.m. when a car drove by and someone pointed a gun out of the window. The man started running and ended up being shot twice, once in the torso, once in the arm. The victim is expected to survive. Police are looking at surveillance video in the area in hopes of tracking down the shooter. With the warmer weather, police are reminding everyone not to leave valuables in their cars. Over the weekend, thieves stole purses out of at least 16 cars at local parks. In most cases, the doors were locked, so the thieves broke the windows. One of the most successful drivers in Houston Speedway history is back behind the wheel, just 2 months after suffering severe burns on his legs during a race. Mark Dobmeyer was racing in Arizona on March 10th when fuel started leaking on his legs. As he left the track, the car backfired and ignited the gas.
I got out as fast as I possibly could, I felt, and I think I made all the right decisions. I immediately hit the ground and started rolling, and felt like I was rolling forever. And then at one point, halfway through my roll, I heard red, red, red on the radio, and I'm like, well, great, they just realized now that I'm on fire, so.
Dobmeyer suffered second and third degree burns and spent 10 days in an Arizona hospital. We'll tell you about his recovery and how he fared his first race back tonight on KELOLAND News. In weather, it's a sunny, warm day out there, and the foreseeable future looks to be along similar lines, right, Adam?
Yeah, especially if you're East River, we keep the warmth, we keep the sunshine, filtered or otherwise, and we stay mainly dry. West River, it's a different story, which we'll go into more detail on as we go through the next about 30 or so minutes. But for now, we'll start our afternoon with a view from our camera in Huron. There's Campbell Park there with the band shell in the distance, 74, a south wind at 15 miles per hour. And that's exactly what I'm talking about, the skies above. That milky sky due to smoke still in the atmosphere from those Canadian wildfires. And we're not escaping it here in Sioux Falls. We've already hit 80 for lunch hour at the airport, south wind at 13 miles per hour, so it's going to be another warm afternoon, but not overly humid. This is what I'm talking about, though. You notice all those darker shades of gray for a majority of KELOLAND. That is the smoke that we are going to be dealing with for the day today, and unfortunately for the next couple of days until we can get some relief in terms of some rain, not to mention the jet stream getting the smoke out of here. And it's not just South Dakota, it's really all of the Dakotas, all the way up into Manitoba and Saskatchewan. But you notice over toward Edmonton and Calgary, where they've had all those wildfires in place, the smoke is starting to let up a little bit. So we're going to try and hope and see if this will continue to move our way in terms of getting all of this stuff out of here. But it's going to be a waiting game until we get to that point. Temperatures are warm, especially if you're East River. Sisseton at 85, 77 Watertown and Brookings, 82 in Ortonville, 69 degrees for Phillip and Rapid City, though, 72 in Spearfish. And And for your day today, we'll peak in the low to mid 80s for southeastern and northeastern KELOLAND. Overall, it is mostly sunny, but it's just not going to have that beautiful blue sky that we'd like to go with it. Out west, we'll see more of the same in terms of 80s for high temperatures, but we're also going to have to deal with a little bit extra smoke, especially toward Rapid City and up toward Buffalo as well. We'll talk about the rest of your 7-day forecast as we go through the show.
Thank you, Adam. The judge has entered not guilty pleas for a man charged in the stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. The pleas potentially set the stage for a trial in which he could face the death penalty. Brian Kohlberger declined to enter pleas on his own behalf in today's arraignment. He was arrested late last year and charged with burglary and 4 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors have 60 days to announce whether they will seek the death penalty. Meta was hit with a record $1.3 million fine over data transfers to the U.S. The fine was given by its lead privacy regulator in the European Union for its handling of user information and given 5 months to stop transferring users' data to the United States. The decision applies to user data like names, email addresses, messages, viewing history, and other information that Meta and other tech giants use for targeted ads. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are meeting this afternoon to discuss raising the debt ceiling with time running out before a June 1st deadline. The president cut short his overseas trip in order to get back to the negotiating table. Nicole D'Antonio has details from Capitol Hill.
White House negotiators arrived on Capitol Hill Monday to resume talks over raising the debt ceiling ahead of this afternoon's face-to-face meeting between President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
I'm going to give the respect to the president and his team. They know exactly where we are. They know exactly what would make this productive. That means, both sides would have to have compromise.
Sources say the White House is now offering to keep spending flat from this year to next. Republicans, they say, want to increase defense spending while cutting everything else up to 22%.
It's a real spending problem. And so the idea that I said we have to spend less than we spent the year before. We're not going to raise taxes.
And I proposed cuts in spending of over $1 trillion. But I believe we have to also look at the tax revenues.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen confirmed over the weekend June 1st is the hard deadline when the government can no longer afford to pay its bills. And with the time it takes a bill to pass Congress, the deadline for a deal is sooner.
The time period that it takes to write a bill when you come to an agreement, the 72 hours, it has to sit out there so everybody can see it, pass the House, and then go to the Senate. And I don't know. So I always gave like a week with the Senate.
The impact of defaulting would be felt by everyone. Economists say millions of Americans could lose their jobs, pushing the country into a recession. Social Security checks could be delayed, and the nation's credit rating could be lowered. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The McCarthy-Biden talks are scheduled to begin